Bangladesh. He is the world traveler. He is now doing on 100 city projects. He is traveling 100 city and doing photograph. And on this basis, he toured Bangladesh, Dhaka. Unfortunately, we found finding with us. So thank you, FORREST, for giving us time. So now floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is FORREST. Thank you for all of you for coming here. Enamel actually first asked me to come here and give a talk, and he said for the collective, and I was thinking 3 members. That should be easy. So I'm kind of blown away that there's so many people here. But thank you. So I haven't given too many talks. So Enamel asked me to talk a little bit about my photographic journey and kind of go over the project and just kind of share some photos. And then at the end, I'll take questions. And you're still good in the back? No problem? Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm from the U.S., United States. I was born on a little town, 6,000 people on the Oregon coast, which is on the west coast above California. And it's a small town. It's only 6,000 people, but it's a tourist town too, because it's on the beach. So there's actually more hotels than people almost. So my parents had a hotel too, and they had a marina where they rented boats. So I always grew up with a lot of people from all over the world. So I think that might have started my interest in people. And so from there, I didn't actually get into photography until I was out of university and in my early 20s. So I was always really good in math actually. I had a creative side, but I kind of pushed it back because I was more focused on career. And so I graduated in economics and business. Actually I was going towards being an actuary, which is measuring risk, which sounds really interesting, but it's a really good job, so I was just focused on that. But so I was working, I got a job out of school doing that, and one thing the job did give me though was it gave me almost a month of paid vacation every year, which in the U.S. is really good. So I'd never traveled outside of North America before. So I decided to take a backpacking trip around Europe for a month. And I didn't have quite enough time for all the cities. So I even called in sick from Barcelona, Spain to add a few more days on the end. But other than just like a simple disposable camera, I'd never even used a camera before. But for that trip, I got a camera, an SLR and DSLR. And after that, I was hooked. I was just taking pictures of everything. And from there, I looked at my photos after the trip, and I noticed that I didn't really care about like the monuments or any of the tourist stuff. I only cared, all the photos were really bad, but the few photos that I liked had people in them. So I kind of knew that's what I was interested in, but it was still just a hobby. So then every year, I would take all my vacation time and go travel somewhere new and take photos. But I was still focused on career. And so from there, I started to get more and more obsessed though, and I started doing jobs on the side. I did weddings, which I hated because it just was so fake to me. The photos, not the actual wedding. But and then I also did some modeling work, which was a little bit better, but it was missing like I've always really liked even documentaries and movies. I like realism, so I was really missing that. So just from there, it kept growing and growing, and I started to make some money from photography on the side. And I decided one day that I was getting depressed at work, just being in an office all day. So I decided, I spent about a year saving money, and I decided to quit and just jump in full time. But I wanted to do something. I wanted to figure a way to make money, but also do something not really normal. So I decided I wanted to photograph. I went somewhere else, not in the U.S., and I wanted to photograph 100 cities, at least 100 cities, and make it a cohesive project though, with one photographer, so it has somewhat of a similar look, and with not like a travel look though, with a little more like street photography, daily life, always candid, things like this. There's more to it than that, but I wanted to show different aspects of life because when I travel, one thing I really like is no matter where you are, there's still you can be in the poorest country or you can be in the richest, and you still see just as much laughter in the poor country. You still see the basic things that make us human. So I really like that aspect. But so I plan on making a book after this. It's been 2 years so far, so I still probably have, this is city number 59, so I still probably have almost 2 years to go. because I have to find time to make money in between. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now, and now I'm in Dhaka. So I started the journey in Istanbul though, and now I'm going to go through some of the photos that have just been during my time doing the project. But I'll give some stories too. I'm not for photos for me. I like to leave the story to the person, what they see from it, the viewer. But I'll give you some stories behind what happened, how the photo was made, what came about, and also I'll try to give you just how I see things, what interests me, things like that. So I first started actually almost exactly 2 years ago at the end of May. I got some small work doing some documentary work in Istanbul, and it was actually in this Fatih is where Istanbul started, and it was Constantinople, and it's a really poor area of Istanbul, but it's also the oldest part. Okay, it's also the poorest part, but I mean it's also the oldest part. So there's a lot of character there, but there's some really touristy areas. But if you explore it, you can find really poor areas where it's people living in broken down buildings. There's a mix of that's where most of the Syrian refugees go that are in Istanbul. There's a lot of gypsies there, and then Kurdish too, and then of course the Turkish people. So I had to do some work there. So I was doing that, and this was mainly about the children living there. And this is from that documentary project I was doing. But then most of the time I was trying, every day I was photographing for my other project. So it was also, I mean, I used to focus on travel photography, but I didn't really discover street photography until around 3 years ago. I think I was just Googling and I found Magnum photos, and then from there I saw, it kind of opened my eyes to more possibilities. So at the start of this journey, it was a lot of it was I'm always trying to grow and get better. So I think this is probably the first photo that I took in Istanbul that I actually liked. So this was during the Pride Parade, so Gay Pride Parade, and in Istanbul it's huge there because there are a lot of people from other countries in the Middle East. They go there because they can't celebrate there, but at the same time, it's a lot of tension because Istanbul's, the police, they don't really like it either, but they allow it. So I had to actually go home. To get home, I had to go through this anyway. So on my way home, I got tear gassed 3 times just going home. But I did take this photo. This was, they were constantly pushing back. They would tear gas every once in a while, push back, and then let people celebrate, and then tear gas, push back. And so this person was dressed up for it, obviously. And so I just ran across real quick and took this photo there. That's from Istanbul. Here's another photo. This is in Istanbul. And so once you start really taking photos, you start to look at your photos and see what kind of things interest you, and you find out some things interest you that you really had no idea. So the more I look at my photos, not all of them, but some, I notice I kind of like strange. I like kind of the weird scenes, strange things that you don't really see, and you're like, what's going on here? So I was walking across. This is by where there's a bunch of ferries and stuff in port. It's a really touristy place, and people just come sit out here. And so I saw these people these girls from a distance, and they were taking selfies. But for some reason, they were taking them in the garbage can. So I knew that if they saw me coming to take this photo, it would stop immediately, and they'd be really shy about it. So I had to get as close as I could before they saw it. So as soon as I saw this girl look up, that's when I took the photo. But that's what that is. And then this right here is by it's called the New Mosque in Istanbul. And so one thing I like to do is I'm always trying to challenge myself and try to see not only what I like, but what I can incorporate into a picture. So sometimes I'll work on shadows, layers. Sometimes I'll work on color, different things. And so I can find out. Because my biggest thing is I want to be comfortable and not really focused on trying to find something. I want it just to come naturally. And so I feel like if I try to challenge myself with something and I get better at it, then I can maybe later incorporate it into making a picture without thinking about it, because I have some experience doing that. So for this one, this was just a photo I was trying to incorporate shadows, because I really hadn't done too much of that at the time. And then If you notice my pictures, you won't see any black and white. But still, it was another challenge I tried for around a week. I tried to focus on black and white, and just for me, black and white is not something I see in color, and I feel in color. When I see black and white, I do appreciate many images. I like people like Joseph Kudelka, I'm a big fan of. But it's not so much the black and white that I like everything else. For me, even when I see a picture, I'm thinking in color. So I tried it, and I took a few pictures, but it's just, I think some people see in black and white and really like how it brings that focus. But for me, I feel like color, you live your life through colors, so colors can bring up experiences, feelings that you've had maybe from childhood or anything. So I really like the whole, all the feelings it brings. So yeah, this was in Ukraine, so this is another reason I like color. With the yellow and the blues go nice together, and it really brings your eyes. It's just like almost larger than life having bright colors like that. And I also like how when I'm looking at color, I'm really looking at light too and how it affects color. So here with just the color of her hair, I like how the light hits the yellow hair. And then also with these two people, they were coming out of a tunnel, and in color, even though in black and white they would still be matching, but in color they're matching even more because you see the tan. The pink of this woman's hat, you can't see the rest of her body, but the pink makes it stand out. Even these birds, it's gray, which is not really a color, but to me it's somewhat of a color. So you see her hair is almost matching the birds, and this was in Budapest, and this is just luck. But I was really more interested in her and the bird, but with her hair and everything like that. But then all of a sudden, the birds went up like that. In Morocco too, in Fez, in the walled city there. And so this is, I think, the largest one in the world. So this is a market, and here I saw this mirror here, and with the light, it was only reflecting a little bit of a person. So I saw her come in with and this is another reason I like color, with the yellow and the blue. It just stands out like that. And then I was noticing when I was taking pictures that the light was streaking, so I decided to improve that. This is in India. This is in Chennai, or what used to be called Madras. So I try to look for, I like frames within frames. This is layers, and it has the frames. And so I was looking, I saw this scene, and then I was able to place them like that. And then I only go for candid, but I don't mind. For me, candid can still be with some eye contact, as long as it doesn't look like they're posing. So I do, sometimes I'll even wait for a little eye contact, but just that initial eye contact. This was taken in Mumbai on Marine Drive. And so here I was just walking along, and obviously you can see I noticed that the way he was sitting, if you did it right, it looks like he's got no body. And so I was able to play around with this actually quite a bit because he was sleeping. But so yeah, so here I do like I don't love trick shots, but I do get if you can make something look a little surreal or illusion, I do like that sometimes. And here I like it's somewhat minimalistic too in the colors. So yeah, he's obviously laying across there on Marine Drive, but you can't really tell that. It's almost like he's on top of a bench with no body. And when I woke up early to walk Marine Drive, and I actually took this photo just like 20 minutes later. So sometimes that happens. I think the rest of the trip I didn't get any shots I liked, but I got two that I liked in 20 minutes. So here I just got the colors I liked, with the matching colors, and the city, and they're almost like buildings too. And I waited here for a while because most of the time they were overlapping, and I look for clean images. I don't like a lot of overlapping or mess. So I actually had to wait a while. Luckily they were there for a while, but until they were all they're a little overlapping. It's not too bad. They're all separated. This is so. I lived in Istanbul for 2015, and then when work ended, I took some time off, and I was. Sorry. Oh, no problem. So I took some time off, and I focused around most of Eastern Europe and some of Europe. And then I got some work in Ho Chi Minh City last year in 2016 in February. And so I moved there and I lived there for about, my apartment's still there, my stuff is still there, I've just been traveling a lot. But I'm actually, after here, I'm headed back. But, so one thing I don't like is, I don't like too much cliche. Like when I think of travel photography, I think of cliche a lot of the time. So, but at the same time, I like if you can incorporate something that that symbolizes the city, that gives you the feeling of the city without being cliche, which is usually hard. So if you're in a Ho Chi Minh City, one of the most common things you'll see is these guys sleeping on their motorcycles, because everyone's sleeping on their motorcycle, and everyone's riding motorcycles, and they're like taxis basically. So I never took one shot. This is the only shot I took with the guy sleeping. But then when I saw him sleeping like that with the orange standing out like that, and then this woman here, and all women, she's dressed a little fancier, but they're usually wearing high heels and skirts, even if they're on motorcycles. So this is from Saigon. Now here's another one from Ho Chi Minh City. So this lady popped her head out as I was walking down a little alley, and she popped her head out, she saw me, and she popped her head back in, so I missed it. So I waited to see if she'd pop her head out again, and luckily she did. Well, because I had been standing there for a couple minutes, this boy was watching to see what I did, and I was able to put his reflection in the mirror. This is another one. I like the color. This was a lady just looking outside, and then took a few shots, but I like the one that had her shoe in it. This is in Hanoi, and so this is another photo that I like because of it. It's just strange. He was stretching, obviously, and they were working out. It's just strange to me, which I like. This is another one in Hanoi. So this is one with reflections and layers and colors, so a few things going on. So this was in Dalat. I just went here one day. It's outside of Ho Chi Minh City, probably like 6 hours. People go there because it's a little bit cooler in the mountains, not so hot. So I was just out there one morning, and then first I saw this guy here, and then I saw the mirror, and then I saw that I could do that. So I just played around with it for a while, and then finally this happened. That just happened. They weren't even there when I first started shooting.
It was wedding shooting for it.
Yeah, there's a lot there because it's pretty by the lake and stuff. So they were just taking wedding photos, and she was just taking wedding photos when I think he went to go fix her hair or something. This is one that I just like because of the colors. So I came over, and at first the dog was by himself, and so I like the color with the red and green, and then the bright dog. And then this is the owner, and people. This man was probably, I don't know, he was really short. So he's standing up, but he's bent over a little bit. But I was able to take the shot over him just because he was so short, to make it look a little strange, just a little bit different. This is the one that I took in Bangkok, and this was just like I said, I like different things. So for here, it's just the color and kind of the geometry of it. This is another one that I like because of the color. So I'll tell a little story here because this is in St. Petersburg, Russia, which is one of my favorite places to go for photography because it's people just are very different there, and they kind of live how they want. They don't really care what people think. So here. It doesn't get dark during the summer until around midnight, and then it gets light again around 3 a.m. So they celebrate, they call it the White Nights Festival, and it happens for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And so one day they celebrate big, and so you go to this island, because St. Petersburg's a bunch of islands, you cross the bridge, and then there's all this celebration going on. So I went there, and I was excited to go, but then I got there, and they had raised the bridge. So I couldn't go that way. So I ended up having to walk around 4 kilometers to another bridge and cross over. And I didn't know it at the time. I took the shot because of the colors and just kind of the weird scene. But there was everyone gets drunk during this thing because everyone's celebrating university graduation and stuff. So it's around 3 p.m. and there's these people all dressed up and they're celebrating and they're all drunk. So I'm taking a couple pictures of the celebration, and then all of a sudden a fight breaks out. And I turn and there's like 7 people fighting coming towards me. And I'm on the bridge, and one of them grabs me, and about 8 of us go in the water. And I had my camera, and so my camera didn't work, and I missed everything. And luckily my camera dried 2 days later, but But then, so that ruined the day, but at least I got one photo. This is where I was trying to go though. So this is an island, and it's like I said, it's just people. I mean, these guys don't care at all, and they don't even get mad about pictures. They don't even care that they don't even look at you really that you're taking pictures, which is great. But here there's pigeons, and I just took this shot because I was actually waiting because this guy right here didn't like the pigeons. They were eating bird feed, so he kept trying to kick them. And then one time he kicked it right. He didn't kick it, but then she came along, and the bird went away and scared her just like that. But I like this guy right here. This is the same island. It's just a small little island where lots of people go. There's a big there's like a big castle there, and there's a few touristy things. But a lot of the locals go there to go rest under the sun. So I believe they just graduated, but he's still in suit and she's in her bathing suit. It's kind of funny. And this is on the same island too. And this boy was running everywhere with that white. And then I caught this one, just as kind of like the different generations here. You have the old man and middle-aged man and the boy there. But as you can see, it's a beautiful city.
And the interesting thing is the shadow. It looks like they have both.
Yeah, it's like a moving. Yeah. This is in Moscow. So I do look for humor if I could find it. So this was already, I guess this is for a movie, some famous Russian movie, I'm told. But she went up there to take a picture, and then when she was walking off, she almost looked like she was coming out of the picture. This is also in Moscow. So here, there's a lot of construction going on when I was in Moscow, which was kind of frustrating because everything was blocked. You couldn't really see anything. But after a while, I kind of liked all the colors, the green here, and then I saw you could kind of see the construction going through, and then I saw this woman, and I just liked the combination of colors and the construction and the flowers. So this is in Amsterdam. So this one, I don't know exactly what was going on because he wasn't speaking English, but here it's just fun. It's kind of funny to me. But the one thing is I look for is I try to find some sort of gesture because just the gesture like that makes him feel a little more human to me. That looks like I think they actually were kind of arguing, but it's just I like just lighthearted. For me, like I don't really find like misery, things like this, negative things don't really attract me more. I kind of like funny, strange, just things that aren't shocking, but most people don't see or don't seem to care about. But if you can capture it, sometimes it can be cool. This is in Paris. So this is I don't know if some of you have probably seen this place. It's famous just because of the lines. People go here for photos all the time because they like the geometry. And you'll see photos of people in stripes, and then people match it. But the funny thing is every day I went there, someone is wearing stripes because people get dressed up to take selfies in front of them. So it's pretty common. But here, I mean, if you look at it, you probably wonder what's going on here. So I just did it so it looks like it's coming out of this one, but with little feet. It just looks strange to me, which is funny. This is in London. London Fields, actually a big park there. And I mean, obviously, I was walking by and I saw this old woman playing football, what I call soccer, so football, and which is just a funny scene. So I went in there and they didn't. I started taking pictures and they didn't understand why. So I just told them, and then soon they forgot about me, so they kept playing. So this is actually probably her grandson, but I kind of wanted to leave that a little mystery to that. I don't like answering it all. If I can, I like photos that ask more questions than give you answers. So I decided to catch him like in midair when he was kicking it. And obviously she didn't save that. That was a goal.
Took the one shot?
I took a few shots. Yeah, I took a few shots, few angles and stuff. Yeah. I mean, they didn't. At first, she was like, "What are you doing here?" But then she didn't care. So I waited until they weren't like paying attention to me, and then. This is in Barcelona. So I actually do kind of like I like beaches for photography because a lot of times people are just letting go more and relaxed. can be more difficult to shoot because a lot of people don't like pictures at the beach. But in Barcelona, they don't care too much. So obviously this man here was sitting down and he has a leg there, which is kind of strange, but then also he closed the umbrella all of a sudden, so I captured it right there, just to give it kind of an odd look to it. This is in Tel Aviv, Israel. And here I was actually, I don't know if some of you might know, but I was walking with Gabby Ben Abraham, which is another street photographer. He lives here. And so what's funny is we were both taking pictures of this, but we took completely different pictures. So here I just noticed the way she was holding the book. If I got down, you can't really even see. She has a head, and then you can't see the baby's head, and then you have the hands here. You have a little gesture of the shadow, and the guy in the background. Took a few photos of this, and I just kind of liked her look too. So just kind of an odd scene. So I try to see if I can capture something a little differently than just straight on. This is in Lisbon, Portugal. And so this was just an instinctual shot. And the hat blew off, and luckily I was able to catch it when the hat was right in the light there. So you kind of wonder what's going on here. And obviously you probably can see it's his hat. He's looking like, where's my hat? So this was in Odessa, Ukraine. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about this. So one thing I really like is when I'm trying to find a photo or just looking, I'm noticing body language, because a lot of time if you watch body language, even if you're in a country, I don't speak Russian, is what they speak, even though it's Ukraine, but you can tell about, you can kind of sense sometimes if something's going to happen. So I was walking by. And in Ukraine, wedding photography is super popular. So every day you'll see people out having a wedding photo shoot. So I walked by and I saw this wedding party here. And I did like them somewhat because they were wearing colorful outfits. So I didn't even take a picture. They were down on the street. But I looked at him, and this guy turns and he looks at me, and we make eye contact. And just the look he gave me was, even though he's dressed up, was like, this is not a good dude. He did not give me a good look. He didn't say anything, but the look was bad. So then I was thinking like, well, it's just another wedding shoot in a messy street, so I'll go. So I walked, and then a group of gypsies passed me. A gypsy passed me, and they were asking for money, and they kept going. So then I stopped to see maybe something will happen here. So I turned around, and I kind of just stood around, and she asked him for money. He was down here, actually. She asked him for money, I'm guessing, and he told her to go, and then she continued, and as soon as she continued, he just whips out his knife and comes right at her, and so I kind of just took the shot instinctually. It was probably not a smart shot, because I could have gotten in trouble, but I just sensed that no one was looking at that point, so I just quickly took the shot, and that's why I probably would have moved a little bit, but didn't really have any time, and then as soon as I took that shot, I knew if I took another shot, I'd be seen, and I didn't want that knife coming in me. But and the funny thing was, she was not fazed. He went right up to her and put the knife to her, but she said a few things, and then he walked off. So I don't know what was going on there, but she wasn't scared. But yeah, this is in Havana, Cuba. So she was looking in there, and this is kind of a creepy shadow, because I didn't even know what he was holding, but it was just kind of creepy, but I like the red dress. So I do have my big projects, but I do some side projects too. So one side project I've been working on is about smartphones, because when you're out shooting, one thing you as a street photographer, you get really annoyed by smartphones because it's not interesting usually. People are on their phones and then nothing happens because of it. So I decided to try to challenge myself a little bit and try to make some interesting photos, but also kind of tap in to kind of the phenomenon of smartphones, so and how they affect our lives. So this project's a mix. It's kind of like I wouldn't say some things are kind of sad, but with a little bit of humor too sometimes. So here you obviously see a couple here, and she's basically a couple with her phone. This is almost similar. It's kind of sad, yeah. This is that last one was in Odessa, Ukraine. This is in St. Petersburg. So he's just on their phone. They're married too. She's got the wedding ring. Yeah, she's they're in two different worlds right now. So it's kind of sad. And then sometimes you see funny things too. Like this is in Moscow.
See, you have an instruction in steal and repeat.
Yeah, I did do. Yeah. It's about that. It's difficult though to find. I remember you both had ones. Yeah.
And the previous one is photographic version of Banksy.
What's that?
Photographic version of Banksy.
Oh yeah. Does he have a project like that with the graffiti?
I know.
Oh, yeah. So now I'll show you some pictures that I haven't shown anybody yet. They're more recent. So this year I was in. So far this year I've been. I finished in last year in Havana, Cuba, and then I've been in Quito. Well, this is Havana right here. So I really don't take many shots at night. But when you're in Havana, it's hard to stop taking photos because there's just so much interesting things going on. So I was walking home late one night and then I saw these lights and this girl looking in there. So I waited there. You could kind of get the different lights and the scenes there. This is in Havana too. So one thing I do like is if you can find this. There's really nothing interesting happening here. He's getting takeout. But I like if you can capture just normal scenes, but make them kind of interesting. Like here you have the colors and the layers and the light. So I started this year in Quito. This is Quito, Ecuador. This is another shot with layers and a nice light. This is another one. This is on top. This is in Quito too. This is at the top here. What's that?
He's jumping from there?
No, I don't. I think he was trying to fix something down there, but it looks weird. So I took the shot. This is in Cape Town, South Africa. So for me, it's just funny. The light's kind of nice, but what I like is just the way she's holding the kid. She's got one shoe, and you have the shadow. It's almost like the baby is not human, like it's a doll. This is in so this is in Johannesburg, South Africa. So Johannesburg is probably the most dangerous city I've been to. It's extremely dangerous. If you're in the city, there's pretty much the whole city is like a no-go zone, and they tell you don't go here, don't take the metro, don't do anything. So, and if you do walk around there, you're going to feel like constantly, especially if you have a camera, that people are about to mug you. But this is a township. It's the largest township in South Africa, and it's where Mandela is from, and it's where they used to put black people when they were segregated during apartheid. So this used to be the most dangerous place in the city. It's still dangerous, but it's actually safer than the city now. So I actually stayed here for around 4 days and walked the streets by myself, which was kind of scary, but it's actually really friendly too. You just have to be careful still. But this was in Soweto, so they were burning this down. So for this, I was more concerned with the background, but I like the lines there, and you have the kids back there, and I like the smoke. But then all of a sudden, this kid just ran, and it was kind of like the layers there, doing gesture. This was really recent. I was in Ethiopia before I was Ethiopia, India, then here. So this is in Harar. So here I just like the shadow there. You can't really see what's going on, but you can tell what they're doing in the colors. This is in Harar too. So this is more layer and shadow and color here. And then I'll finish with this shot. This is in Addis Ababa, and so actually about 10 minutes before I took this shot, I tempted. I didn't get robbed because I got away, but seriously, around 10 minutes before I took the shot, I was walking down the street, and there was nobody on the street, and there was a car. And so all of a sudden, this guy, he's eating a piece of fruit, and he spits it out like an accident on my shorts. And as soon as he did that, he was I'm so sorry. And then 4 guys get out of the car, and they surround me, and they're calling me brother and asking me where I'm from. One guy has a rag, another guy has a bottle of water, another guy's talking to me. And so one guy's pouring water like this, the other guy's using a rag like this, and I'm like, this is not normal. And so then I watch him, and then I feel my phone coming out of my pocket. And so then, so I grabbed his hand, and luckily, this is really common in Ethiopia, but violent crime is not. So luckily, I was able to grab my phone from him and get away. But and they stole one thing though. I didn't know they stole one of my extra batteries in my pocket. But then so I was not in a good mood. But then I saw this. I saw this guy. At first I was looking at the mosque and the colors there, and then with the tower here. So I just timed it so it kind of looks like it's part of it. So that's kind of, and this was I think city number 56. So now I'm at, or 55, and so now I'm at city 59 in Dhaka. It was like, this is what I'm doing, and just sharing photos. So I decided to try to see what I could do with it. So one thing I noticed is when I traveled, you can't find, unless it's London or maybe Tokyo, New York, you can't find any information for street photography. So where to go, you can look up, you'll find like viewpoints and things like this. So I decided to research every city I go to, and then try to see many parts of the city, not just focus on one. And then so I can give recommendations of where to go and kind of give people an idea of the place through photos and then also posts and talking. So I do this on the blog. I create guides to each city I go to. I share photos, of course, but then I give impressions and different advice, tips. Usually I make a map for every city too, suggested photo walks. And then I interview different photographers, so I've been able to meet a lot of, like here, I've been able to meet a lot of local street photographers, which has been really great. So I usually, if I can, not every city has local street photographer, but I try to do interviews and different tips and things like that. And that's called shooter files, but that takes me probably, I spend 30 to 40 hours a week on that, so that's also a big thing. So check that out if you guys can. And so for here, I've had a mom and I'm showing me everything, so I definitely have a few places to recommend here. I probably wouldn't have found any advice online for here, so that's been good.
Yeah. Imam helps you.
What's that?
Imam always be.
Yeah, every day. We've been getting up like at 5:36, but it's been good. So do we want to take questions now, or do you want to?
Then 5 minutes quick.
Okay, yeah.
We start again.
Okay. So like for talking, so I'll take anything you want to ask me. I'm open. I'm not like that. So one thing I like about photography is I'm not really interested in hearing about me. So I'm interested in other people. So I don't really know what you guys want to know. So you can ask me anything. We can start with gear questions if you want to ask that. But then if you have any other questions, I really appreciate it. Okay. Great. First, I want to talk a little bit about how I approach a new city. So this is city 59, and almost all of them were brand new cities to me I'd never been to before. So a few things I do. I usually prepare beforehand. I Google, I search like keywords, street photography, places, and then the city name. That usually finds me almost nothing. But sometimes if I type in forum afterwards, you'll find people ask these questions in forums, like where do I go for street photography? So if you type in forum afterwards, sometimes you can find where locals gave advice on where to go. So I do that, and then also I look to see what the city has, like the tourist spots. Maybe it has markets. Markets are always a good place to check out. Any parks, any where the central of the area is. And so I find all these places that I want to check out. And so once I go there, I kind of, depending on the size of the city, I kind of map it out. If it's a big spread out city, I'll check out maybe 2 places in a day. And so the first few days, I'm checking out all those places I wanted to go. And if I know anybody in the city, of course, I'll ask them to. But most cities I go to, I don't have friends there, so I have to do everything myself. So, so the first few days, I focus on the places. Mainly for the blog too, so I can give advice on a variety of places, just because I don't like certain places doesn't mean that you won't. So and then after that, the last few days I go back to the places that I like the most, to see if I can get better shots. So that's what I do to prepare once I'm there. So for advice for that, those are some of the things I would do. If you ask locals, unless they are photographers, especially unless they like street photography, they're probably going to tell you. They might think it's a good idea, but they don't really know what you're looking for, even if you tell them what you're looking for, that you want life and people. So the best thing to do is you just have to walk a lot. When I go, I probably walk, I have one of those trackers on my phone, and I average around 15 to 20 kilometers a day walking. So you have to walk a lot. I don't like transportation too much unless I need it. So I'm fine with if I need to go somewhere that's 3 kilometers away, then I'll walk, and then sometimes I might find something on the way. Just because some spots might be better than others, you can find something anywhere. And sometimes I'll find spots that I didn't even know about. So I like walking, honestly. I look for light. When I started, I didn't care so much about light, but light's much more important to me now. So I used to shoot all day long. So I used to walk even more. Last year when I was in India, there was a few days I walked over 40 kilometers, no joke, in one day. But I was walking from morning till night. But I was finding when I looked at the photos that even if it was somewhat interesting, in the middle of the day, the light was just so harsh and so bad that now I usually take a few hour break in between, and it gives me more energy too. I don't get too tired because the morning and actually probably the evening's my favorite, right? Probably around 3 p.m. If the light's good, I really like it because I hate when I have a good shot but the light's just really bad. So light's big for me. I think even when you're doing color, it's especially important because it really brings out the colors and makes them look good and makes them stand out. What else? When it comes to now, this depends on you. When I first started doing candid photography, I never was too fearful about approaching people. I never asked for a photo, so I always just take the photo. At the start, I was a little hesitant, but so what I did though to get over that fear, I didn't have a really hard time with it, but still, I noticed I was hesitating too much. So I did a project this was many years ago, but where I went up to as many people as I could and took photos of them, and just for the project, just to get the ability to do it and not worry about the reactions. And then after that, I just went up to as many people, and at the start, the first few people that got mad, it bothered me a lot, but then over time, you just go through it, and it doesn't really bother you. I really haven't had any bad reactions in a while, but when I lived in Istanbul, I did have a few because you have some areas are really conservative and they don't like photos. And my biggest problems though were never people that I took a photo of. It was always somebody watching me, and then usually kind of fake anger, but they would try to protect their area to want to be able to shoot quickly. Any more questions? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. As you like to shoot all day long and different like the condition, so which your favorite mood? P mood or A mood? Which mood?
Say that again, sorry.
In camera settings, we do all manual settings or preset settings, P mode.
All manual. So,
all manuals.
So I really like light. So I like sunlight, like bright light. So even how I travel is based. I try to base that on. I mean, I'm probably in summertime or around summertime, 90% of the year. So I'm moving kind of to follow summer. So I like light. And so my camera settings are usually pretty similar. I usually around 500th of a second. Around. I don't like too much. I like everything to be in focus. So I'm usually f11, then 16, and around 800 ISO, 640, depending on how bright the light is.
In daytime? In daytime?
Daytime, yeah.
At night? What
At
about
night.
ISO?
I don't shoot much at night because especially for the project, because it wouldn't fit. But if the light goes down, I'll jump up ISO. I might go to 5.6. I mean, if it gets real dark, then I just have to go out of focus. Actually, one other thing I do is I zone focus almost all the time. Because
Yeah, I want to add something. As he used Fuji has no P mode. Yeah, it's like rangefinder. As aperture in lens, shutter speed on body dial, and ISO also in dial. So everything in dial, and there is no P mode here. Okay.
I feel like this is bad. I'm talking about Fuji right now.
And also, usually we do street photography. Usually do manual focus. Focus is taking time, so you have no time. And whenever you use autofocus, it uses own language, own brain, this camera brain. So we don't want to use camera brain. So we usually, like he says, is June focus. We always use June focus. Okay.
If the shot, if I miss the shot, I want to be mad at me, not the camera. So that's why I like the zone focus. Plus, zone focus, if it's right out, it's really easy because you can have F11, F16, and almost everything's in your focus. So you can just take the shot. You don't have to think about anything else. You just take the shot. So that's why I like it.
Can you give us a suggestion about backpacking when traveling?
Yes. So obviously, so a lot of the time so money's a problem obviously while doing this. So I have to live on a budget. So I'm living very minimal when I travel. So I stay at hostels or anything really cheap, and I don't go without anything. But yeah, I'm definitely. I look before I go on finding a cheap place, but also finding a good place, good reviews and things like this. And just basic means, yeah. And I just have a backpack. It fits on the. So I'm living in Vietnam, so I do have a suitcase full of stuff there. But when I'm doing the travel, I just have a backpack that can fit on the plane, which has my clothes and everything. And then I have a messenger bag, which has my computer and electronics. And then I actually have a side little bag that fits my camera in there because they don't even see it when I go on the plane, so they allow me to have 3 bags. Yes.
So do you have any projects? Have you ever done any projects with a specific concept or a specific goal in mind? So you shoot with a specific concept.
Yes. I mean, are you talking about for me or anything? Well, I mean, not the cell phones is a specific one.
I mean, have you ever done any projects or do you intend to in the future?
About the project.
So I'm doing the cell one before I did the.
No.
Sorry.
For example, have you ever done any project or you have a specific goal in mind that I'm going to this place, I'm going to shoot this, so clip and shoot.
He is asking you whenever go a place, did you pre-set your brain that I will shoot that things
Or any project like that? Or
Any project.
in future?
keeping in mind.
Like a horror story.
So like I like golf. So I'm thinking I will making a series about golf. So do you have pre-thinking about any projects? That's I will work on this thing.
When I went to Istanbul, the documentary on Fatih was specific. It was children. It was showing them showing the negative side of the kind of like how they live, and it was focused on violence. So if you go there, there are it's a lot of violence there. You see, even the kids are constantly fighting, using like rocks and things to hit each other, and they're like 4 years old. And so I had to focus on this. So that was one. I mean, let me think. I mean, when I guess so you wouldn't consider the cell phone specific?
No.
No, he is asking about, let me clarify. He is asking if you are coming to Dhaka,
Yeah.
you have a pre-plan that I will shoot a photo of rickshaw.
Not for a specific city, no, other than Istanbul. Actually, yeah, in Vietnam, when I worked there, usually I only do this for work, but my work there was about how fast the city's growing. So it involved a lot of construction and stuff like this, but with a street photography.
You have no intentions in future to do that?
Not right now. No. Anybody else? Yes.
You obviously use a very wide lens, 18 mm.
Yes.
So have you ever had a situation where this is a very wide lens? So do you ever think that there's more element that you don't want in your photos because it's a wide lens? So there's a chance of getting elements that you don't like.
Yeah.
So have you ever do you ever worry about that when you're shooting with a wide angle lens?
So I also have the 23. So sometimes I do miss using the 23 because I love the freedom of using the wide, and I do like the effect and the layers. But sometimes there's a couple things I miss. is sometimes you have to get close. With the 23, you don't have to get as close. So a lot of times, even if it looks like you're close, you see the photo and then you weren't close enough. Because the problem with the wide is, even if you're a little far away, everything gets small very quick, and which is not good in a photo usually. I mean, if you look like at Alex Webb, he uses 35 millimeter. Even though he has all these layers, he's using 35, and it's nice because with the 18, you need everything pretty close. The layers can't be very far apart, or they're just going to be so small that it won't really bring focus. So yeah, sometimes and if you crop it, it doesn't really fix it because now it's still small. It still looks weird.
Does the distortion of a wide lens ever bother you? I mean, 18 mm is quite wide, so.
No, I think what bothers me more is how things get small so quick, but the distortion doesn't bother me too much. I don't think it's that bad on the Fuji though.
18 millimeter means 28 millimeter in full frame.
It's a crop body.
Crop body. And 20
Yeah,
is not so
It's not
wide.
as wide as, yeah, I've used 21. It's the 14 millimeter, but that's 21 millimeter. So yeah, everything's cropped, so it's 1.5 times. And that was 21, and that had a huge. I didn't like the distortion at all on that. I don't think the 18 to 27 is that bad. It's fine with me, for me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is a good street photo? So like now we do many freaky shot. So if you post a freaky shot, you will get so many likes and so many comments. So do you think a freaky shot is good, or you need everything? So like story, content, and composition. So you need both, or you need one?
So for me, I'm not as picky as some people. For me, and sometimes it's a problem. My interests in street are I have a variety of interests. I like